What's up, Tutorinos, and welcome back to the Game Addicts podcast, the show where we talk about the modern and retro video games that we sometimes play and collect when we have the time. Man, it's been a minute, like a month, right? It's been, I think October 17th or something like that was the last episode, but the last episode I actually recorded was like October 2nd. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. A lot has been going on in our neck of the woods, including the birth of this family's Player 4. My son Owen, born on October 12th, 3:15 p.m. My bad. It was a bright, sunny day. However, this is episode 140. I am flying it solo today. I don't know if we talked about it on one of Mike's last episodes that he was on, but he is going to be working on his house. And, they're going to sell their house and do all this stuff. He's got to do, all this work and stuff like that. We're going to try and get together as often as we can. Going to shoot for like once a month. The release schedule for this show, I'm all over the place. It's been a minute. I'm out of practice. The release schedule for Game Addicts is going to stay the same. It's going to be every other week. I missed a week, and I'll get to that. But me and Mike are going to try and get together. We're working a lot. I mean, a ton right now. And he's got a lot of work to do. I've got a new baby, a newish baby. He's been around for a couple weeks, but he's still not, I mean, it's going to be a while before he's sleeping all the way through the night and has a set sleeping schedule. But when that is finally done, I can kind of gear it back up a little bit and do some other stuff. So why did I miss a week in the show? Well, the day after we got home from the hospital with our new son, I got sick. I'm sitting there in the living room. I got my hoodie on. I'm like, man, I don't feel good. It's like that feeling. It's like, man, almost kind of like you're running a little hot, and I'm like, like my other son, Wyatt, he's watching some kid's TV show I really don't want to pay attention to. All I want to do is sleep. But here we are. We're like, the baby is like just home. I want to be there in case she needs me. But I'm just like, I don't feel good, So I pulled a hood over my head. She asked me how I'm feeling. I said, I feel really hot. And of course I'm running a fever with the hood on my head, and it was like 104. It was nuts. So I ran a fever for like 4 days straight and was pretty much sick for the last 2 weeks. And then only in the last week has my voice really returned. My voice was pretty bad. The week after I had the fever, I had the cough, and then my voice, I think I went back to work I was off work for like a whole week. So I went back to work on a Monday, and it was like literally the Monday I was back. Tuesday, voice gone. My voice is shot, and it stayed that way. It's still not back to 100% what I would consider, like when I'm singing along with radio, I can't sing. It's gone. But I can sort of speak normally for an extended period of time and not lose my voice. So I'm excited to be back here on the show. I've been wanting to come back. I wanted to try and do a show this week, but I should say this past week. And but it fell apart. We had to take Owen, my new son. We had to take him to get seen by a doctor. It's kind of a last minute kind of deal. Everything's fine. Everything's good. But it kind of threw a wrench in the plans. So that whole thing, like scheduling and everything. So I'm doing this by myself. The last episode that I did was a deep dive into Final Fantasy VIII. I want to do more deep dives into certain games. If you guys haven't checked it out, please do so. It's doing pretty well, better than what I thought it would do, honestly. It's FF8. FF8 is the divisive. Very divisive among Final Fantasy fans. A lot of fans say it's the worst. I don't. I like it. It's got good and bad, sure, right? Go listen to the episode if you want to hear my thoughts on it. But I want to do more like that for other games. The next one that I really am thinking about doing is The Last of Us, which was free last month on PS Plus. If you missed it, you missed it. But it's not too expensive. Go pick that game up. Last of Us Part 2. Of course, I got some news on that a little bit later on. There's not like a lot of like late breaking news. I'm basically going to be kind of catching up to speed for some of the stuff that has kind of happened for like the last few weeks, because I mean there were some trickles of stuff that's like, whoa, that's a big thing, I want to talk about that. Oh wait, I'm not doing the show, that kind of deal, right? But man, it is so good to be back doing the show again, and now that this episode has been started and this episode's going, also guys, this mic is sensitive. We have a new baby, which means we have extra laundry. Guess what? I don't have a professional studio. This is my game room, and the laundry room is right there. So if you hear the washer going in the background, sorry about that. That's just the way the cookie crumbles. But I want to do more deep dives, like I said before. I want to get Tyler back on here. He's been busy. I love chatting with Tyler. I want to get Mike back on here as well. He's busy. Man, it's like, and then of course we have the holidays to contend with as well. So be prepared to hear some more solo Brando action going forward until we kind of figure out what's going on in the world, right? It's a lot easier for me to slip back here on a random day, and just record for an hour or two than it is to start getting schedules lined up for everybody. And but as I said, we're going to try and make that happen as much as possible, because it's more fun to hear ideas bounce off of each other than it is just to hear one dude talking about it, right? Sharing his views. But be that as it may, man, I haven't got a lot of time to play a lot. Of course, with the new baby, who would, right? I've gotten to play a little bit because it's right there in the living room. It's just like when I can, she's chill, he's chill, the other kid's chill, I'm chill. Once all those things kind of align, then I get a chance to play for a little bit. And I've been playing the Outer Worlds. If you guys haven't checked that out, please do. If you like Fallout, please do check that out. You'll feel right at home with it. It's getting pretty good reviews across the board. I haven't heard too many negative things on it other than it's really Fallout-y, which, in my opinion, is not that bad of a thing. Sure, maybe it doesn't bring too many new things to the fold, but what it does do is it scratches that itch. Last year Bethesda came out with 76, and there was a lot of hype around what that game was going to be. And then, of course, a lot of disappointment for what that game wasn't. And that kind of thing is still kind of happening with that game. They're trying to make it better. They're trying to put stuff back into it. They're doing some sort of subscription thing with it, which is weird now. But here comes in Obsidian. They did Fallout New Vegas. They did KOTOR 2. And they kind of did this weird little mix and match. You got some companions to go with you. You've got the gunplay and the hacking and the slowdown time. It's very Fallout style. But it sprinkles in a little bit of that spacefaring BioWare type game with your followers. In Fallout you get like one follower and he follows you, and they meld those worlds together very neatly. And I am really enjoying the game. The only downside is, since my time with it is so sparse, I get really into it for a couple hours, and then I leave, and it's like a week or something before I can play it again. Then I go back to it. I'm like, okay, what am I doing? Who are you? Why am I doing this for you? And it's getting to the point where I almost just want to kill everybody just to see what would happen. Even though that's not I don't normally do that. I like to play as the good guy. I almost want to role play it like it's really me. If I have this choice of how I would react in this situation, what would I do? And that's been difficult to jump back into it when I have forgotten what's going on. Especially if I go somewhere and it's all just kind of like a big side quest. And that side quest leads to more side quests and more side quests and more side quests. But it's not that long of a game. It's like 30, 40-hour game or something like that, depending on how long you take. And I'm thoroughly enjoying it. I'm playing on the Xbox One, which is the best way to play it. If you have Xbox or PC and you get Microsoft Game Pass Ultimate, you can get it for like $1 for the first month, and you can play the game. That's what I did. I mean, sure, I am going to add it to the collection. I am a collector, but I'm also a cheap ass collector. And for anybody that I'm going to go out and I'm going to try and support as many devs and publishers that that I'm passionate about. I was a little leery on this one, but they had the best deal to try this game out through Game Pass. Of course, that's Microsoft. Microsoft owns Obsidian now. But I will be adding Outer Worlds to the collection at some point. I do enjoy it, and I do plan on finishing it. But if there's a cheaper option to try a game out, do it, man. It's just like when you get a chance to, rent a game or do something like that. That's kind of what I feel like I'm doing. I feel like I'm renting it. And I'm probably going to keep Game Pass for another month to finish it up. So it'll be $1, then $10 for the next month, and so on. And there's a few other games on there that I want to try and get my hands on. I never got a chance to play Bloodstained. So I hope that plays well on the Xbox One. And I did try a little bit of Forza Horizon 4 on my gaming laptop. And it kind of, once again, reinforced the idea of why I don't really enjoy gaming on the PC. I can do it. It's fine. It's there. It's not it wasn't an overly negative like the very first time I tried to get to gaming on PC. Because my gaming laptop is pretty capable. It's probably not like your top end it's not 4K or anything like that. But it's got some pretty decent stuff in it for like a couple years ago, probably like 2 or 3. It's got your I got all the specs right here on the sticker I never took off. Your Core i7, then you got NVIDIA GTX 1060 with 3 gigabytes of DDR5. Then RAM, it's got 16 gigabyte DDR4, and then of course, that's basically the the big thing. It's got a pretty small solid state, 128, but it's got a terabyte of a hard drive on there. It's a decent little gaming laptop, and it gets the job done. And I was able to play a little bit of Forza, check it out, and it looked fine. It looked perfect. But it's just, I don't know. I felt uncomfortable, like sitting here like this, playing a game, using the keyboard. Now I could use the controller. I don't know. It's like when I was playing it, I was playing it primarily in the hospital when we were waiting for the baby to come, but also in the living room a little bit because I've been hanging out more in the living room due to baby and all that kind of stuff. And I didn't have my little stand I have the laptop on. So if I had the stand and I had the controller, I'd be good. I'm not a good mouse keyboard guy, period. I dislike it, even though they say it's better. It's more accurate, especially for playing a shooter. I can't do it, man. It just feels so uncomfortable. It really does. Like when I do get recording back here for for the YouTube channel or streaming on Twitch, and I'm sitting here at my desk and I'm playing, and I have my secondary monitor here, off to my right. So I'm usually sitting here like this playing, and I have the stream here, so I look over and I check this out. Everything going okay? Is anybody talking to me? Whatever, right? Look over here, and I'm looking at the TV, and I'm playing, and I'm talking while I play, because that if you're going to tune into somebody or watch a video, like a lot of times when I do a video for YouTube, it's almost kind of like a deep dive while I'm playing it. It's like, hey, I've got information. Let's stop and talk about it for a minute, right? Did it for like Metal Gear, Mass Effect, and stuff like that. But it's not the most comfortable way for me to play games. Even this chair's comfy. I like it. It supports me where I need it to support. But dude, when I'm in the living room, like I'm like this, man. I'm like, lean back, feet up, That's how I like to play. I'm a laid back gamer, and so PC's awesome. I'm not gonna say that PC isn't awesome, but it's just not my forte. Not my forte at all. What is my forte? Like consoles. There's a lot of we got new consoles coming out next year. We have Black Friday rolling around, so we got some pretty good deals on some consoles like current gen and all that kind of stuff. What's going on, man? I heard that there were going to be some better deals on the Switch, but I haven't seen them yet. They seem to be last year's deals on the Switch, which is basically $300 for a Switch in Mario Kart. It's like, well, that's cool, but here we are going into another Black Friday a couple years in. Maybe you could drop that to $250 or maybe $200, and with no game, right? Like $200, no game. No, that's not Nintendo. Or I even threw out the idea of what if we did $300. Okay, so still $300, but you get Mario Kart and Mario Odyssey. You get 2 games. But that'd be a cool deal, right? Well, that's just a little too much. Anyway, what about the Switch? Anything? Pokemon's coming out for the Switch. If you're hearing this, it's probably this week that Pokemon's coming out. I don't know if I'm going to get it one at all. If I do, it might be around Christmas time, but I got other stuff I'm looking at for getting for Christmas. And this game, while it's on the radar because I want to see how well it's going to do, I imagine it's going to be really well received. But I'm not sure if I'm on board. And it's not that for a fact that I don't think that it's not going to be good. It's just for a fact of I am not a huge proponent of playing newer Pokemon games. I like the last new Pokemon game I played was the remake of Gold. And that was my first time playing the Gold era, the second gen. I played Red, I played Yellow, and then I was done. I was like, a friend of mine got Silver. He's like, check this out. It's got day and night. Got all these new Pokemon. I'm like, they look dumb. I didn't like it. I was a Pokemon snob. It's like, who dares add 50 more Pokemon to my series? And then of course now they're at like 800 or whatever. But I probably will pick it up at some point. I would like to maybe just dip my toe into it. I'm not sure if I will though. It all depends, man. Witcher came out. I mean, they made a big deal about Witcher coming to the Switch. Switcher, right? But the really big cool thing about that is that the whole game, they got the whole game and the entire game of the year, all the DLC to fit on the cartridge. There's no extra download for that. That's nuts, especially when you consider a game like NBA 2K19. You have to download the rest of the game. Otherwise you can't play it. And somehow the guys over there, a CD Projekt Red figured it out. Also for the Switch, next year, I think it's next year, Outer Worlds will be coming to the Switch at some point. I'm not sure when. That info might be out there, but I don't know. I think they just said early 2020. They haven't dialed down an exact date yet. But we will see, because one of the games I was really looking forward to, which got a release date, and then a month later they delayed it. You guys know what I'm talking about. It's Last of Us Part 2. Last of Us Part 2 in September. Hey, we're coming out in February. It's like, all right, dude, that's coming out like a week before FF7 Remake. I'm going to plow through that, and I'm going to go right into FF7. Man, life is going to be great. Well, they need a little bit of extra time to make it basically feel that like it's a Naughty Dog quality game, which is fine. Absolutely fine. I'm not upset about this game being delayed at all. I don't really get upset about games getting delayed. The only time that I have gotten upset is when it's like, hey, we're like a few months away from this, and it's like, hey, we're delaying it for a year. I'm like, whoa, wow. You guys were getting that close to the wire, and now you're just gonna take a whole year? Really? I don't think I think the last South Park game wasn't quite that bad. I think it was like, it's coming out in the spring, and now it's like all the way into fall. And then I know you kind of like, it's going to be delayed, so you got to figure out, when's the right time to release it against these other games. I know all that strategy, but it's like, man, all right. But I'm not mad. I'm not mad about it because I want the game to be good. And when you a delayed game can always be good, but a bad rushed game is more than likely going to be bad forever. That, or at least it will never get rid of the stigma of being bad. And it takes a lot to look at Fallout 76. Look at No Man's Sky. They've done so much work on that game to get that game to be what they promised. And I'm so proud of them for sticking to that. But, there's still some people that played it and it's like, no, I'm not going back. A lot of people have, though. Will that happen to 76? I don't know. Probably not. But Last of Us Part 2 got delayed until, I think it's May 29th. So going right into June, right into this almost near summertime. That's fine. That's perfect. That gets me a chance to not have to worry about rushing through it to play FF7 when that gets released. Gives me a chance to hopefully have a good 2 months with Cyberpunk when that comes out, so I don't have to rush through it either. And then I can play The Last of Us Part 2. I'm happy that I'm cool with that. I'm cool. But man, there's been a lot of rumor and conjecture about what's going on with the PS5. Notice there's not a lot of rumor and conjecture going on about the next Xbox. But we know both of them are coming out in holiday 2020. They've already confirmed that for the PS5. The rumor is that the release date for that could be December 4th, 2020. And why is that date significant? Well, December 4th, 1995. 94. Sorry. December 4th, 94 was the Japanese release of the PS1, the original PlayStation. Came out in America or in the North Americas in September of 95. So if they released it on December 4th of 2020, that is direct 25-year anniversary of the original PlayStation. A lot of people think that could be a thing. But why? Well, number one, that is a Friday, so that would keep in line with their, the last launch was on a Friday as well. Number two, they are heavily rumoring. I say they as in, well, the rumors. But it's heavily rumored that the past is going to play a big part in this console. And the same guy who leaked out the exact release date, the original release date for The Last of Us Part 2, he tweeted out recently, hey guys, if you've got your discs for PS1, PS2, PS3, don't get rid of those yet. That means that those discs are going to play a part potentially in backwards compatibility. Of course, we've seen how well that's done for the Xbox brand, introducing 360 compatibility with that one of the most successful consoles of all time, the Xbox 360. And then, of course, they started adding in some of the original Xbox support. Now, how that works on the Xbox, if you guys do not know, and hopefully you guys do, they add the games to the store, to the Xbox store, right? And then if you have the game, like I know this is one of them, Mass Effect 2, right? So you put your Mass Effect 2 disc in the Xbox One, and it goes, hey, this is Mass Effect 2. And it starts downloading it for you. So it downloads a copy of it off the store. It doesn't read it off the disc. It's not like the old style, like last-gen game systems. But it will download them, and that disc is now your access key to play it. So if you don't have that disc in there, that downloaded game will not boot. It works just like if you were to put an Xbox One game in there, and it downloads or installs off of the disc, where you still need that disc to play. It works the exact same way. That seems more likely for what they're going to do with the PlayStation. But how cool would it be if it just played the info off of like the disc, where it doesn't have to, like, they don't have to worry about, you don't have to worry about any of these games. I got 140 PS1 games back there. And a fraction of those are going to be on there, right? But how cool would it be if I just grabbed the most random game, Andretti Racing? I'm going to play Andretti Racing today. Throw that in my PS5. It's like, hey, it's a PS1 disc. Have fun. That would be cool. I doubt it, because you'd have to have certain technology in there to make sure that those discs are being read off of the laser, for which, the original PS1 format is CD. The PS2 had two formats. You had DVD, ROM, so DVDs, But there were some of them that were still CD based, and they are the ones that are blue on the back. The PS2 discs that are blue, I don't know if you ever see them. I have a couple of them myself, but those are CD-ROMs. Those are read by using the CD laser. And then, of course, the PS3, that's the Blu-ray laser. We will see. I am skeptical. I see them doing it more like if they were going to be like the Xbox. You know, it's like, hey, we have this on here. If you have it, cool, you can play it. But if we don't have it on the store, you can't play it. That means they're going to have to partner with a lot of the publishers who have the rights to all these old games, right? All the old IP, and then you get those guys as just like they have a lot of those Star Wars games. They have a lot of Star Wars games on the Xbox. I'm sorry. Specifically the Xbox with the 360 and some of the original Xbox games. They got a lot of games on there I didn't expect them to get, but they're on there. And you can play them. And it's cool, because especially if you've got those games still. If you go to an old used game store near you and start buying up some old games, I mean, the overall library for backwards compatible games on the Xbox store is like over 500. It's something like that. The majority of those are 360, and a very small fraction, I would say maybe 30 at most, are original Xbox. But they're there for people who want it, and I think that's going to be coming for PlayStation as well. We will see, but because they haven't announced that yet. There's a lot of other stuff that they've announced. They haven't announced that, and I think they're kind of waiting for the reveal to. If I were them, I would showcase it live on stage. Have a small reveal thing. Show them how it works. Take your disc. Bloop, bloop. There it is right there. And it works. Man. Speaking of PlayStation, Death Stranding came out last week. I haven't had a chance to pick it up myself. I'm a Kojima fan, so I will at some point. I have heard a lot about it. It's very mixed. People can't decide whether they love it or hate it. I kind of figured that's what was going to happen with this game. It was a game that was very quirky. I saw somebody, I can't remember who it was, so please forgive me, describe Death Stranding as a Hideo Kojima game had a baby with another Hideo Kojima game, and we got Death Stranding. It's that quirky, that weird. And I also saw some people complaining that it can't really decide what it wants to be. Is it an action game? Is it an adventure game, where you roam around and drive to the next place? Or is it a horror game? And it's all three. I'm excited to check it out just for it to be weird. I know that they got product placement for Monster. I'm chugging down a Monster right now. I had to wake up. I ate lunch, and then I'm out there in the chair falling asleep. And my wife's like, hey, you can go record your episode. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I got to wake up. I got to go do that. Oh, man, Death Stranding, guys. Just here live on the show. Live on the show. Just like we always do. You're feeling like old times here. I'm going to look up the Metacritic because it is getting a review bombed. And I've made my mindset clear on review bombing. I don't think it should be necessary. Please don't give that much credence because great games have been review bombed, right? Just because people, video gamers in general, are fickle. All right. Currently, it has an 83 out of 83 reviews on Metacritic. User score out of 6,004 ratings is 7.0. And what I think when I last looked at it, it might have been like an 85. I know that like Outer Worlds is about an 85. To me, dude, if you get an 8 out of 10, that's great. That's awesome. That's a great game. A lot of these people are like, man, this game only got a 7. Well, last time I checked, 7 out of 10 was pretty good. And we talked about this ad nauseum on the show. It's like, what? Like I remember when Mass Effect Andromeda, right? Mass Effect Andromeda came out, got a 7.4, 7.2 out of 10 or whatever. And they're like, this is the worst game ever. It's 7 out of 10. Like, when did a 7 out of 10 become unplayable? And that's what they said. It was unplayable. It was like the episode title, like way back for one of the old episodes of the Game Addicts podcast. 7 out of 10 equals unplayable. This game is unplayable. 7 out of 10. What? No, unplayable. Unplayable's a 1. Okay. Let's get our all of our ducks in a row. Was the game unplayable? No. Did it have problems? Yes. Is it as good as Mass Effect 2 and 3 and even the original? No. It isn't. Is it a good start for, to have that team that never made a game like that, never made an RPG, never made an open world RPG. They only worked on DLC and online stuff for Mass Effect 3. And then this is their first game, and let them build off of this and let them do another one. And how good could that have been? Andromeda 2 could have been badass, and we'll never know. Because then, of course, this year, we had Anthem. The main team from BioWare made Anthem. And it's hollow. And it got worse reviews than Andromeda. And we didn't know how good we had it, did we? Speaking of EA, I think there was a news story from a couple of days ago, a week ago or something like that said EA games are coming back to Steam. Talked about PC gaming earlier. Coming back to Steam. What in the world's going on? EA has Origin. That's their launcher. Red Dead Redemption 2 is on PC now. Holy crap. And they have a Rockstar launcher. It's on other stuff as well. And that's kind of what EA is doing here too. And I think I know what's going on. My gears are spinning. It doesn't take a rocket scientist. So I'm not saying I'm this big, really smart analyst for video gaming. Steam's trying to combat the Epic Game Store. So they struck a deal with EA. Bring your games over back to Steam. People love using Steam as a desktop launcher. Obviously, EA's probably not hurting a whole lot by using Origin. People will use it. If there's a game you want to play and you want to play it, you're going to download that launcher for it. Simple as that. They make more money with their own launcher, but you can't tell me that they didn't strike a really good deal with Steam for this. EA wouldn't be doing it if they weren't getting paid. Let's be honest. They want that money. And Jedi Fallen Order, the new Star Wars game coming out here this week, I think, as this episode launches, it's this week. So as this episode launches, we're getting Pokemon and Jedi Fallen Order in the same week. I'm excited to see how Jedi Fallen Order does, especially since it's an EA published game and it's a single player experience, no multiplayer, no big microtransactions. And we live in a world where those games can sell. Look at God of War, look at Spider-Man, look at RE2. RE2 had some packs on there that you can buy. But I mean, a lot of it was just there, dude. Like I think I got the deluxe version. I pre-ordered that on Amazon. I had a deal, or I pre-ordered it on Amazon before they stopped doing the percentage off. So I pre-ordered the deluxe edition, paid normal $60 price for it. I mean, I didn't pay any extra for it. Single player experience all the way through. Sold like hotcakes. Same as God of War, same as Spider-Man. Speaking of selling, PS4. Bringing it home. Surpassed the Wii. PS4 is now the number 2 best-selling console of all time. PS4 is now only behind the PS2, as that is the number 1 home-selling console, or best-selling home console of all time. Good on you, Sony. They did it. There was also, I saw a list of the top 10 best-selling consoles. And I'm going to read those here on the air. Of course, I don't have it. I don't have it ready because I'm a very bad host. No. Gosh darn it. It's one of those odd things. It's like, oh, you want best-selling console games? No, I do not. I do not, good sir. So, Oh, this is number 15. It goes all the way to the 15 best selling. It's on IGN. This was just updated. So number 15. Well, of course, this we don't really know the hard data for this, but Xbox One 41 million asterisks because they haven't updated the number in a long time, and all we can do is conjecture to what that could actually be because they've quit releasing data, and we have to go around it. Number 14, Nintendo Switch. Nintendo Switch is pretty much tongue-in-cheek past the Xbox One. That's awesome, considering that it released, was it just over 2 years after? Xbox One was 13. Switch was Switch was 17, March 17. Wow, so 3 years, doing great. Number 13, Super Nintendo, aka Super Famicom in Japan. That's at 49 million. Number 12, NES, original Nintendo Entertainment System, 61. Okay, this is why it's inflated. They have handhelds on here. I was only looking at consoles. Handhelds are awesome, and they sell a lot, but I was looking at specifically home consoles. So 11 is 3DS. Respectable. Really, really respectable. After like 8 years on the market. 75 million. PlayStation Portable is number 10, 80 million. That did pretty well. Of course, like while the console sold well, maybe a lot of the games didn't sell that great because a lot of people were modding these, right? Number 9, Game Boy Advance, 81 million. I mean, they're right there neck and neck with the Game Boy Advance. Game Boy Advance, awesome system. Number 8, Xbox 360, 85 million. That has an asterisk right next to it because basically they quit reporting figures on it in 2015, but we can assume that it's kind of a little higher. And the same can be said for the PlayStation 3, sitting at 87.5 million at number 7. Holy crap! Last time that I checked, and I'm pretty sure we talked about it here on the show at one point, that we thought the 360 kind of edged it out by like a million. They were right there neck and neck. No, PS3's kind of pushed ahead, but they also have quit reporting numbers on that. I think the last time that they said it was the end of March 2017. Number 6, the Nintendo Wii. Oh wow, I was a bit wrong on this one. According to this article, 101 million for the Nintendo Wii. See, I always thought that was number 2, but apparently, because that is 101.6, and at 102.4 is the original PlayStation at number 5. Number 4, PlayStation 4 with 102.8, and then of course we have the Game Boy at number 3. The original Game Boy, of course, goes from the original launch of the Game Boy in '89 all the way up until the Game Boy Color in like '98 or whatever, and that's 118 million. The DS, 154 million. Of course, that's DS, DS Lite, DSi, DSi XL, all those different ones. Number 1 is PS2, 159 million. But look at this. Number 1's PS2, and now I'm only going to do consoles. I'm not looking at the handhelds. No offense, guys. Number 1, PS2. Number 2, PS3. Number 3, PS1. Number 4, Nintendo Wii. Number 5, PS3. Holy crap. Think about that. Top 5 selling home consoles of all time. All time. All 4 PlayStations are in that number. Even though the PS3 coming there at the end, number 5, 87.5 million, somewhere in that ballpark. Crazy. But props to you guys over there, Sony. You guys have done something right. For sure. I mean, especially in this generation. You guys, I know a lot of that is based upon coming right out of the gate, man. Boom. And they did. And they got it out of the gate, and they're doing great. And they're easily double than their competition, right? and they're probably going to remain that way, if not edge out even more. I think the PS4 is going to be a console that is going to be sold for the next 5 years. I think they're going to be making the slim model and keep, people are going to be still buying games for it, used games or whatever. I think there's going to be that 2-year overlap period for the PS5. You're going to see games coming out for the PS4, like your sports games, your Maddens, your NBAs, your MLB The Shows, and then your Call of Duties are going to be cross as well. But I know that Sony wants you to transition to the PS5 as soon as possible. They don't want you to stay on that PS4. They were like, no, buy our new thing right now. And there's a new little rumor or a patent leak, and it's about a cartridge. Supposedly, it's an accessory for the PS5, and it looks like an old school memory card in a way. It's kind of weird. This was found on the same patent that we found out what the dev kits look like for the patents out of Brazil. The same thing, and this is a cartridge. So what is this cartridge used for? It kind of looks like a memory card, but it's not quite. And there's a lot of conjecture, a lot of rumors, people flying around, people making all these accusations. It's going to be used for, they're going to make a handheld like the Switch, and you're going to be able to take your game and put it on that cartridge and put it into your into the handheld and go on the go with it. I don't know about that. I don't know. I don't think that would really be that successful. Got a good old Reddit notification right in the middle of my thing. I don't think that would be that successful for Sony. Basically Nintendo designed the whole console around the idea of it's a handheld and it's dockable. And you bring it home, you put it on the dock, you play on the TV, you take it with you. Ease of accessibility. For this one, it would be like, well, you got that PS5. You could buy this completely other thing for like $300 that really can't play games by itself. Maybe it could. Maybe they'll make them downloadable. Maybe they'll have cartridges like PS5 portable, PS5P or whatever. I don't know. Nah. It's not going to work. I don't think it would work if it were something you had to buy extra. Would I do it? Maybe. I do like taking stuff with me on the go. I taking all your save stuff with you on a road trip or on a plane or on a commute. If you live in a bigger city, that's cool. But if you're asking them to already shell out $400 to $600 for your console, because we don't know the price point yet. I've heard rumors like $550. I've heard another rumor saying they're trying to stick to that PS4 launch price of $400. That'd be awesome. But there's a lot of stuff in this new console, and it's going to be pretty advanced. For a console, it's going to be one of the most advanced, as well as the Xbox. But both of those consoles are going to be pretty advanced for what they are when you consider that for every other launch in the past, consoles have always been maybe a beat or so behind. With some dated components. Now, I also want to say, for all those guys, they're like, well, PCs have the edge here, and sure, they are more technically, upgradable. You get better stuff in that you can put in there each year. But man, it goes to show you like how good these developers are that really get good at developing for these consoles. Like they really try and help them out and get their game working on this, get their game code working on this console. Because with the PC's doing a bunch of other stuff along with that game. Whereas that console is doing that game. Maybe it has some memory, some processor memory over here to like go back to the menu, maybe do this. But quite typically, when you launch another app on like the PS4, Xbox One, it pretty much either suspends that game, or closes it. Like it's like no, it puts everything it can into playing that game and giving you the best that it can give you. And when you have a console that has a lot of this newer technology that's going to be in it, like the new Xbox, like the PS5, and you have these developers who the rumor is that the PS5 is even easier to develop for than the PS4. we're going to get some great games. We're going to get some great looking games. And hopefully some great playing games. Hopefully we don't have that issue like we had in the beginning of the PS4 when you had games that couldn't run 60 frames per second in 1080p. Looking at like on the Xbox One of the games, Battlefield 4, 720p to get 60 frames, you know. Battlefield, I think it was on PS4, it was like 900p, some weird resolution there. But I don't know. What do you guys think? I'm super excited for the next PlayStation. I'm definitely going to pre-order it, even if it doesn't come with the, the backwards compatibility like I want. I'm a console gamer, and I always will be. Until console gaming becomes something that is not, for me, it's the ease of access. I don't want to get stuff. I don't want to install stuff on my computer. I don't like installing stuff on the games either. But it's so easy. You just put the disc in there, and then it does it. It's like an extended version of putting the cartridge in, clicking power, and it's like, okay, now I'm playing. That's how I want to play games. So, you know what? That's about all I've got for today. This is kind of a catch-up episode. Let you guys know my opinion on some of the stuff that's been going on, and get you guys up to speed for what we're doing. Of course, going to be trying to do releases every other week here on the podcast. I'm going to try and do some more of the deep dives in between. I'm maybe not guaranteed every other episode, but I'm going to try and do the Last of Us and maybe some other games, some of my favorite games as well. And then for the YouTube channel, if you go check us out there, you'll know that I've kind of stopped recording for Mass Effect 2. I was playing through I played through Mass Effect 1, and now I'm playing through Mass Effect 2. I'm going to continue that as soon as I can. I'm going to try and get that continued up within the next couple of weeks to get some episodes recorded and put out. I try to keep them about like an hour and a half to 2 hours per episode. And I'm going to try and get back to that. I haven't had time. I have not spent a lot of time back here in the game room. Been out there with the baby and my wife and my other kid. Just spend time as a family, because that's what's important right now. But as we move along into the holidays, hopefully have a little bit more time off work, I'll be able to hopefully get some time to sit back here and make some new content for you guys, whether that's podcasts, gameplay. Of course, you can check us out on all the podcast platforms that you can think of: Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Stitcher. Podbean is our host, and they're great, and their app is really good as well. Of course, we're on YouTube as well. Go look at us up on YouTube. The podcast goes up there on video format as well as audio. If you want to just like listen to us in the background with no video stuff, it's automatic for Podbean to just throw it up there, so I just do it. Just boom, audio only, boom. There you go. Less work for me, and then there's an extra version of it there for anybody who wants to listen to that one. But then we're also, check us out on our social medias. I posted a big update on Twitter about a week ago, and so I'm going to try and get more active and get back into the stuff here as well. And then Twitch. I want to when I start recording for Mass Effect again. I know there for a while I wasn't going on live. I wasn't going on Twitch. I was more focusing on just trying to like talk about the game and not talk to other people that are coming in. And I may start trying to live stream a little bit more and live stream those recordings just so they're streamed, and so I'm getting out there and being more active. So until then, guys, until next time, I have been Brando, and I want to thank each and every one of you for checking out this podcast, however you do. Whenever you found us, whether you've been a long-time listener or you just found us last week or today, thank you so much for checking out this show. It is a passion of mine, and I want to continue doing it for a long time. Until next time, game on, guys. Have a good one.